Yo, what's up you guys? Welcome back to another video. As you guys can see, the car is already on the lift. For those of you guys that don't know or haven't seen the last video, my clutch took a shit, and that's what I'm hoping that it is, and that it's not the transmission. But drive shaft is already off, exhaust is off, O2 sensors are also off, slave cylinder's off, it's just hanging over there. Transmission brace is already off, being held up by the transmission jack. Now I just got to undo all the bolts that surround the bell housing and then start inspecting the clutch. But we have the clutch right here. I went with the Motive twin disc clutch, so that we're going to be trying that out. So let's hope that it's just the clutch and not the transmission. And also a huge shout out to my boss David, because he let me use the shop and stay over at work so I can do the transmission, and he also helped me get the clutch, so huge shout out to him. Without him this wouldn't be possible. So without further ado, let's start getting all these transmission bolts off so we can remove this transmission and see what the damage is. All the bolts to the bell housing are pretty much out. Now the only thing left to do is start wiggling this transmission out. And like I said, hope that it's the clutch and not the transmission. So let me start pulling this thing off so we can take a look at it. Alright, so the transmission is down. I'm going to inspect it right now. So what I'm going to do before I check that, I'm going to start undoing the clutch and let's see exactly what happened. I'm assuming it's the disc, but we will see once I pull it off.
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
Well guys, what I didn't want it to be is exactly what it is. I blew the trans. The clutch, honestly, it's not that bad. There is burn marks, as you guys can see right here. Like this thing, it's not, I mean, it's bad, but it's like, I've seen worse. And then the flywheel, as you can see, has all these burn marks on it. But yeah guys, it is the transmission, unfortunately. It sucks because I didn't see anything on the clutch, so that's what was kind of worrying me out a bit. And then I came over here. Maybe I should have done this instead of dropping the trans, but regardless I would have to drop the trans. But if you guys can listen, yeah. So the transmission is gone. This fucking sucks. This honestly sucks. I was not expecting it to be the trans. I'm not gonna lie, the trans did take a beating. It's been abused ever since I got the car, and I've been modding it. Obviously, once you start modding the car, you should start preparing for things like this. And I have been abusing it, as you guys have been seeing all the racing videos. Like I said, from the upgraded twins to the bottom mount single and now the top mount single. And I've taken this to a bunch of roll nights. I've taken this to no fly zone where I beat it a lot. Like, I would beat on this car, and it's lasted me pretty much ever since I got the car, like 2 years, 2.5 years now. Unfortunately, yeah, it's the transmission, guys. At least I have a new clutch, so I am gonna have to order a transmission, which blows. It really freaking sucks. But I'm ending the video here, guys. I'll keep you guys posted on the next video to see what happens, if I get a transmission or whatnot.
Several days later.
Yo, what's up, guys? Continuing the vlog from the last clip that you guys saw when I was dropping the transmission, and you guys saw that it wasn't the clutch, it was actually the trans that was messed up. Well, I'm already undoing the pressure plate. It's already off. I already unbolted it. Here's the clutch and flywheel, but here's the transmission that's gonna be going into the car. This is a used one, it's a good one. Has 85,000 miles. And then here is the one that pretty much said goodbye to me. So this one's bad, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna try to see if I can rebuild it or see what I can do with it, just to keep that one as a spare. This is the one that's gonna go in the car. I'm gonna start bolting up the clutch, that way we can start getting everything going onto the car. I also did buy new flywheel bolts, so I'm not going to be using the old ones. I bought everything new. Also, the rear main seal, I already installed it. I am going to be putting red Loctite as per the instructions say on the motive instructions. So I'm just putting this one on right now, just so it can hold the flywheel so it doesn't fall. And I'm going to be putting red Loctite on all the other bolts and then start torquing them down. So the flywheel and the clutch, everything's already on. I thought the camera was recording, and unfortunately, I don't know why it randomly stopped. So you guys didn't see me putting this on, but pretty much everything's already torqued to spec. So the clutch is already on. So before we start putting the transmission in, I am gonna be removing pivot pin because I got a new one as well as this clip. So I'm gonna be removing that right now so I can put the new one. So here it is. Now I'm just gonna install the new one, grease it up a bit. Here's the new one. It's an actual metal one with the new clips. I'm just gonna go ahead and install this back on. Just like that, it's in. So I put a little bit of grease on the pivot pin. Clip is on. The clutch fork is cleaned up. I added some grease right here to where the throttle bearing is gonna sit. And I added a little bit of grease back here where the pivot pin pretty much makes contact with the fork. So now it's just getting the new throttle bearing and getting this installed. So here's the throttle bearing. So pretty much as for the instructions, it says to use the low side, which is this side. As you guys can see, there's this top piece that's kind of higher, and then there's this piece which is smaller than this one. So we're going to be using this one. So pretty much it's going to sit like that on the clutch fork. So that's pretty much how it's going to sit. So let's go ahead and put this on, and just like that it's on. And now we can put the clutch fork back into the transmission. The clutch fork is in. I lubed up the shaft already. Everything's good to go. Interlocked the clip. So now with that done, we can start mounting up the transmission. This can come off already. So I'm gonna record as much as I can. Camera unfortunately is dying. Alright guys, what's up? Sorry I couldn't record everything. The camera had died on me, unfortunately, and I had to put it to charge. Meanwhile, I was putting everything back on. But update, transmission is on. All the OT sensors, all the connections, they are all back on. Everything's already tightened up. I am draining the fluid right now to change out the transmission fluid. And then from there, we will be doing the diff fluid as well. I am gonna have to take off this brace because the drain plug is right here. So that sucks, but we are gonna be taking that off, switching out the fluids, putting the exhaust back on. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So just draining out the fluids and then going up, putting the engine oil. I already drained out the engine oil as well. And then I just gotta install the spark plugs. And then pretty much that's it. Just gotta connect the battery, turn on the car, and fingers crossed, hope for the best that everything works out. Nonetheless, I'm almost done. I'm excited. Hopefully everything goes good. So let me go ahead and start putting these fluids in and changing them out so I can get moved on with the rest of this stuff. All right, so the fluids have been changed. Transmission fluid has been changed. Diff fluid has been changed. Now the only thing left to do down here is pretty much just bolt up the exhaust and then we can bring the car down. I gotta put the engine oil as I already drained it. So just the engine oil, the spark plugs, connect the battery, and then we can turn on the car and hope for the best. So let me start putting the exhaust back on and then go from there. Alright guys, it's time to bring the car down. The last thing to do now is just do the spark plugs. So I'm just gonna pull out the old ones, put the new ones in. The moment of truth, I'm about to turn on the car. It might not turn on the first time. It's probably gonna stutter because it's been sitting for a bit. Alright guys, well, the car is up and running. It's 4:40 in the morning. I've been going ham all night on this car. I was not gonna leave the shop until I got this thing done and I left with it. Yeah, I'm so hyped the car is back, guys. I'm exhausted as hell though. But man, it was a long day. Honestly, it was a long day. We went to get the transmission in Fresno, so it was 3 hours there. And then we drove straight to the shop, which was 4 hours back, and then all night since we got back. I've been working on the car. So I'm super stoked that the car's back. I'm about to head home, guys, because I'm freaking exhausted. I don't know if you guys can tell from my voice, but I'm dead. I'm finally heading home. Oh man, how I definitely missed this. But first off, I just want to say a huge shout out to my boss David, because he literally made this possible for me. He literally let me borrow the shop to do the work on my car, and my coworkers let me borrow their tools, you know, because I didn't have some tools that they had, so they allowed me to go ahead and use them. So huge shout out to them. Like, they literally made this possible for me. I've been literally going at it all night. I was not gonna leave the shop, like I said, without driving my car back home. I'm super exhausted, but I'm finally glad that I got the car back up and running. Like, it's literally been an extremely long day, but it was well worth it, guys. Like, honestly, the Motive twin disc clutch feels way better and smoother than the Spec Stage 3 Plus. It's not too aggressive, but it's definitely very smooth. Like, the Spec Stage 3 was very aggressive, and it was just like, the pedal was really hard too. With this Motive clutch, it's actually like an OEM feel. It feels soft, and I kind of like that, because going through traffic with that heavy ass pedal, it sucked ass. But nonetheless, guys, the car is back. Finally, there's more content that it will be coming, guys, so stay tuned. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell notification button so you guys know every time I upload a video, guys. I'll catch you guys on the next one.